Hi, KC Live. We're back with interior designer Helen Austen, and today we're talking about how to choose the right sofa, which is very important. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, okay. All right, so where do we start when we're trying to pick out a sofa?
Okay, obviously fit, right? So function first, make sure it will actually fit. The trick for this is get a tape measure. Best case scenario, take painter's tape and put it on the floor for the length of the sofa that you're considering. And that could just mean before shopping, you go online, find some sofas that you like, then look at their dimensions, and then take that and bring it into your real life home. So you kind of get an idea of what you might be committing to, so you don't have surprises on delivery day.
It's a lot smart. That's very smart, because when I was looking for a sofa, my sister was like, "Did you measure things?" And I was like, "No, I just..."
By an arm length, you know, when you lay your arm on it, I think it's 4 arms.
Yeah, I was like, that feels right. Okay, so perfect. We need to know that. Then how do we pick the best type of maybe seat cushion? Okay, I wouldn't even think about
this. This matters. I think this is one of the things when I got into design that I was very surprised by. I'm like, this makes so much sense. 3 seats are always better. And that's on your typical standard sofa. Reason being, 1, basically this is a cush for every tush. So a cushion for every tush, right? So it's easier. No one wants to sit on a crack.
No.
So, and they hold up better because they're smaller. So they don't get wrinkles. So you can have a cheaper couch. And don't have to get something that is as expensive, and it will actually last longer because that cushion is so much smaller. So it's so much better to get always a 3 cushion, or just think a cushion for every tush.
I love it. Cush for every tush. I love it.
I didn't even know that too, that they last longer.
They do, and they don't wrinkle, because and we'll talk more about that. Like the way a cushion sits will actually cause little waves, or they'll sink depending on how cheap the sofa is.
Yeah,
okay.
That is good to know.
Okay, what about a sofa with a chaise lounge?
Okay, so as much as I love being able to put my feet up, I'm not a big fan of them because they create this bench seat. So that's one big cushion. So what happens where you sit back, where your weight is, it definitely will get wrinkles, even on really good sofas. And sometimes it'll sink. So if it's not a really expensive sofa with a lot of good support, it'll start to sink in that one corner. No one ever really sits on that end piece. So an alternative is an ottoman. Like, get an ottoman that can scoot up to just a regular sofa, or do a sectional where you have a corner cushion, 1 cushion, and then the other cushions that go along for each section.
See, that's a good idea too, because I have a couch with a chaise lounge, and I do, it kind of sinks into the back, and I'm like, you know, it is just me, so we'll make it work, but that is very good to think
Helpful
about.
to know. Like, you can, as long as you're okay with it, then do it. But this is one of my warnings I send to clients when they're like, I want this, and I'm like, okay. You're but do know that this is what typically happens.
Absolutely. Okay, so then what should we know about maybe the depth and the height of the seat?
Okay, let's start with just depth. So a lot of really comfy couches that you might just go to a store and you sit back and you sink in, so it's really deep, but also it's really hard to sit up. So how are you using your space? Is it for comfort? Do you have people over? Do you entertain? Are you going to read a book? Or are you going to sit and watch a TV that's up high? The only reason where you want a really good deep seat is if when a TV is awkwardly high, or it's above a fireplace, which I don't recommend. You have to do that, but a lot of times people are needing to do that, and so having that sink and where you can kind of sit back and see the TV, it fits. Otherwise, really awkward.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever sat in one. Well, if you're tall, you're good, but the shorter you are, and you need pillows, you're like, well, this is awkward.
My sister has one of those, and whenever my mom sits down, every time she's like, all right, I need you guys to help me get out of this thing, because we are deep in it. Now, we only have a little time left, but talk to us. Do you recommend a sit test?
I do. So it's like when you go to a store and you sit and you're like, oh, this is comfy. Okay, here's the little warning. So if you change the fabric on that piece of furniture from say it's a cotton blend in the store and you're switching to a linen blend, it'll probably sit different once it's in your house because it's a different type of fabric. So the stretch and how it sits on that cushion, also it'll wear differently. So just heads up, always know that if you're gonna change it, color probably doesn't factor in, but if it's a different fabric type, it's gonna probably sit a little differently than in the store.
Such good tips. You have no idea how much goes into actually choosing the purchase.
It is wild. It is really, how many details? I'm just scratching the surface on this, because we're not talking about construction, which is way too much.
Well, you're like, I won't dive into that, but we do have to talk about the sofa.
Sure. Well, Helen, if people want to follow you, where do they go?
My website is helenausten.com. Austin's with an E-N, like Jane Austen.
So there you go. Well, Helen, thank you so much for being here. We love when you come in and give us all these